Hello, friends. You heard it right, just as it's mentioned in the title. President Trump is not letting U.S. immigration out of his sight. On the latest update, now every legal immigrant, all 55 million visa holders, are now under the government's microscope. USCIS has started enforcing new rules that could touch every immigrant family in America, from those waiting years for a green card to parents preparing children for citizenship. At the same time, the standards for becoming a U.S. citizen have quietly tightened, and for the first time in decades, the immigrant population is shrinking instead of growing. These are not small adjustments. They are changes that could decide whether your family's case moves forward, stalls for years, or even ends in deportation. In this video, we're going to look at 3 key updates: how continuous vetting is now affecting 55 million visa holders, what the new expectations are for citizenship and good moral character, and what the recent drop in the immigrant population tells us about the system today. We'll also touch on how these changes can affect processing timelines, NVC cases, RFEs, interviews, and deportation risk. If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it so that you may get updates straight to your smartphone. Now let's get into the video. The first update involves what's being called continuous vetting. This applies to all visa holders, people here on student visas, work visas, tourist visas, and others. What it means is that instead of checking your background only when you apply, the government can now keep monitoring during the entire time your visa is valid. That includes reviewing records, watching for criminal issues, and even looking at online activity. For someone on an H-1B visa waiting for a green card, this creates an added layer of stress. You may have followed all the rules, filed your paperwork on time, kept up with the visa bulletin, and answered every RFE. But you still know your case could face questions at any time. Even small misunderstandings or technical errors might cause delays or worse. The second update involves citizenship. For years, the main requirements were passing the civics test, showing you had no disqualifying criminal history, and demonstrating continuous residence. Now, USCIS is placing more emphasis on what they call good moral character. This means officers are expected to look at a broader picture: your reputation in your community, your financial responsibility, your work history, even how you are seen to contribute positively. In practice, this makes the naturalization process more personal and a little less predictable. Some applicants may be asked for additional evidence, such as letters from community members or proof of service. For people who have already been here for many years and who thought the citizenship step would be straightforward, this can feel like an unexpected hurdle. The third development is about the size of the immigrant population overall. For the first time in decades, the number of immigrants in the U.S. is not growing. It's starting to decline. This reflects a few factors. Processing timelines are long and families get discouraged. The NVC and consulates are overloaded, so interviews take longer to schedule. Deportation actions are increasing, and many people outside the U.S. are rethinking whether they want to begin this process in the first place. For families who are already here, this drop matters because it reflects how much harder the system has become. When fewer new arrivals are coming in, it usually means the pathways are more difficult and the environment less welcoming. So how does this affect you? If you are a visa holder, you should be aware that your status can be reviewed at any time. Keep your documents in order, respond promptly to USCIS notices, and try to avoid anything that could raise questions later. If you are applying for citizenship, it's a good idea to collect some additional evidence about your life in the US. That might include employer letters, volunteer records, or community references. It's not that every applicant will be asked for this, but being prepared can make the process smoother. If your case involves children close to turning 21, you need to pay special attention to how age is calculated under the Child Status Protection Act. With USCIS using final action dates, some children may age out sooner than expected. Planning ahead with legal advice can be important. And for everyone, be ready for longer processing times. RFEs are becoming more detailed. Interviews may include questions that feel more personal than before, and consulates are dealing with heavy demand, which slows down appointments. None of this means your case won't succeed. Green cards are still being approved. Citizenship is still being granted. Families are still reuniting. What has changed is the level of scrutiny and the unpredictability in timelines. For many immigrants, the hardest part is the uncertainty. You may have lived here for years, paid taxes, raised children, and built a life, and yet you still feel like the finish line keeps moving. That uncertainty is exhausting. The best approach right now is preparation. Keep records organized, monitor the visa bulletin, stay on top of NVC messages, and respond quickly to any RFEs. If you can, get legal guidance early. Small steps now can save months of delay later. That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration Updates channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas, such as B1 and B2, work visas such as L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the U.S. Immigration Updates channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Part of Trump's broader enforcement agenda, immigration is no longer just about paperwork and interviews. It is about loyalty tests, surveillance, and suspicion. Families who once felt secure with valid visas now feel they are living under a spotlight, one misstep away from deportation. The second change is about citizenship. USCIS is tightening the standards for naturalization. It is no longer just about passing the civics test or proving you have no criminal record. Officers are now directed to judge your good moral character. That means they will look at your reputation in the community, your financial records, your work history, your online posts, even your day-to-day behavior. This gives USCIS tremendous power. A citizenship interview that used to feel predictable can now feel like a moral trial. Immigrants who have worked, paid taxes, and raised families here for decades now fear being judged by